One question for everybody. Vegas, finally? I think so. Heat win! 143 to 107 to the Chicago Bulls. My gosh, where did that come from? So, it's one thing to blow them out at home, but to go to the Windy City and beating the living daylights out of the Chicago Bulls is as encouraging as it gets for the Miami Heat. And they did that without Andrew Wiggins and still Tyler Hero. Even a small portion without Norman Powell, because Norman Powell got hurt. He did play. He did come back and play this game, thankfully, because you don't want to see anybody go down with injury. But man, what a blowout is for the Miami Heat, man. 143 to 107. I think this is the sixth time, something like that, where I think it's something between that, along with the 130 scoreboard, close to 140. It's around that time where the Heat goes up that high. This is clearly the best scoring team in the East. But the teams that are in front of us is Denver Nuggets and I think the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets or Oklahoma City Thunder. But the Heat, number one in the East, the highest scoring team in the East. The best offensive team in the league. Now, if they can improve on rebounds, then it's over. We could really do some dangerous things to the league. But hey, man, blowing out on the road, especially against Chicago Bulls team who are solid at home. They come in this game 5-1 record at home. Well, my gosh, the Heat did not hold back. Now, here's the thing: this is the NBA Cup, so the point differential is going to be very critical. So they just kept shooting without any dishonor. So that's what I love. That's what I love to be like. You don't have to hold back with anything like that. But seriously, the way how the Miami Heat played this game is so encouraging, so well, so encouraging. I love this performance by the Miami Heat, and it's very settling, very settling. And they're on a three-game winning streak, And I like to think they're perfect this week, 3-0 this week, beating the Knicks. Who else did they beat? I have a little bit of a brain fart. Oh, the Warriors. Who could forget the Warriors? And the Bulls in the NBA Cup. With that being said, Vegas, maybe we still got one more game. Again, I think that's against the Bucks. But wow, what a game! What a game this was. So the first quarter score was 36-32. That would be the only time it was close, right? It was close. We're seeing Josh Giddey shooting points. I mean, Josh Giddey is Josh Giddey. He is just improving every single time he plays. So Chicago got a really good player. And I'm not saying that Josh Giddey is just an absolute nobody, although I said that last year. I recognize his talent, to say the least. Dosunmu with the layup. Norman Powell was just continuing his excellence. This is around the time where Powell gets hurt, right? A little bit later in the first quarter, where he gets hurt just a little bit. He does end up coming back. Khalil Ware, he was awesome. David Mitchell was awesome. In fact, everybody was awesome. So free throws were happening. Jaime Jaquez doing the same, and we're seeing some Keshad Johnson minutes early. In fact, he was playing majority of the game. Keshad Johnson. We're seeing some minutes from him. Maybe it's finally time. Maybe it's finally time, man. Fontacchio gets a 3-point foul. He makes 2 for 3. The first one and the third one. Drew Smith with that pull-up shot, which is still pretty good. First quarter score was 36-32. And the second quarter was a blowout. The second quarter, the Heat was just rolling. Okay, they were rolling. Norman Powell comes back, thank goodness, because you don't want to see him hurt for a while. Khalil Ware was just hustling, boxing out, making some alley-oop dunks. He had 5 dunks, including some of the vicious ones. It was awesome. And Norman Powell continues the three-point shooting. Khalil Ware, bam, and one. And then just threes rain down the Windy City. And a halftime score would be 70-52, so we're up by 18. 34-20, the Heat outscored the Bulls. Pretty cool. Third quarter, another good quarter for the Heat. A little bit of a wonky start, but a good third quarter. But a good third quarter for the Miami Heat, and there was some pretty good. Those are pretty good. Okay, now the third quarter deserves a little bit more time to talk about. There was something a little bit controversial, and to me, it's a little bit controversial because I've seen this before. So a few years ago, Kyle Lowry gets called for a foul, right? He then throws the ball towards the referee, and the referee did not see the ball coming towards him, the basketball. And then they gave Kyle Lowry a technical foul, and I think that at that time was his second technical foul. He ends up getting tossed out of that game against the Portland Trailblazers. That was like 3 to 4 years ago, something like that. It was that season, 21-22 season. I remember that all too well. And I remember being so freaking pissed. I remember being so pissed that night. And I literally was like, what in the are we doing? Kevin Huerter gets called for a foul. Now, this is where I can understand this a little bit more than I do with the Kyle Lowry situation. Because with Kyle Lowry, he was trying to pass the ball to the officials. Huerter, okay, to put it this way, imagine being angry, and imagine just pulling your frustrations, and you punch the ball away, right? You punch the ball away, but he did this, like he smacked the ball towards that the ball was going to the direction of the referees, right? He did that, and that is basically unsportsmanlike, right? He gets teed up. He gets teed up, Huerter. Tony Brothers, I think, is the referee crew chief in this referee crew. They went to review, and they determined that it is an unsportsmanlike. That ball hits the direction of the legs of the officials, which it did. I'm not denying that it didn't, because it did. But really, that's an ejection right there. And I'm a Heat fan saying this too. I mean, I personally don't agree with this. I don't agree with this at all because the similarities happened with Kyle Lowry years ago. But Huerter gets tossed out of this game. Fans were booing. I totally get it. I totally get it. I don't like this. I don't like this ejection. The technical foul you can definitely give at the very least. But an ejection, that seems a little bit too harsh. That's a little bit too harsh right there. I understand there's a rule where you can't do that, but that seems just a little bit harsh. Huerter gets ejected from this game. There was not much argument from there, although the coach was arguing with it. I don't know. I just don't agree with this call. That's all I'm saying. I just don't agree with this call. I don't agree that Huerter should be ejected from the game. I don't agree with it at all. So I feel bad for him, and it hurts the Bulls. Let's just say it hurts the Bulls worse now. Norman Powell with the technical free throw. He does make that one. Powell Larson, who was fouled, makes both free throws. Then it becomes a back and forth a little bit, but in the end, Miami Heat just continues this excellence and dominance, and the fourth quarter pretty much seals the deal, man. Everybody's shooting the three-pointer, including some NBA debuts. We saw an NBA debut of Yamir Young. I actually think it's Jamir Young, with the pronunciations. Coming out of the bench with 2 3-pointers. He is 2 for 2 with 3-pointers. Freaking awesome, man. Awesome debut right there coming off the bench. And then we saw the debut of Myron Gardner. He also shot a 3-pointer. Not bad. Not bad, man. Welcome to the NBA. Seriously, welcome to the NBA, man. Y'all deserve it. In the end, Miami wins 143-107 against the Chicago Bulls. And it's just pure dominance right there. Pure dominance. Very encouraging. Point differential is going to be critical. And, let's see what happens with one more game. Their next game is going to be on Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's going to be a matinee game. All right, box scores, we can call it a day. Bam Adebayo with 18 points with 2 for 5 and 3-pointers, 4 for 11 and field goals, 2 for 5 and 3 free throws with 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. Good game defensively for Bam Adebayo. I think he would have loved to have a little bit more for the points. Kel'el Ware, he was awesome. 20 points for him. 8 for 15 in field goals, including 5 dunks that he has made. 4 for 4 in free throws with 14 rebounds, so another double-double for the sophomore NBA player. 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block. Great game. Norman Powell, again, great game for him. 19 points for him. 6 for 14 in field goals with 2 for 7 in 3-pointers. 5 for 8 in free throws, a little bit uncharacteristic in free throws, with 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Davion Mitchell, 16 points with 7 for 9 in field goals, including a really nice left-handed finger rolls. 2 for 4 in free throws with 6 assists and a steal. Pelle Larsson also with 16 points with 4 for 5 in field goals, 2 for 3 in 3-pointers, 6 for 6 in free throws, including a unbelievable windmill dunk. What? Pelle Larsson could do a windmill dunk? He did a windmill dunk like this. He comes up and then bam, right into the net. Right into the net. He got that windmill dunk in. I mean, oh my God, man. What a highlight. He also has 1 rebound, 7 assists, 2 steals. He did not commit any turnovers, which was awesome. Off the bench, a couple of players with the double-digit points. Kashad Johnson he played for almost 30 minutes. That's nuts. He has 14 points for him. 2 for 5 in 3-pointers, 3 for 10 in field goals, 6 for 6 in free throws, with 12 rebounds. So he has a double-double for the first time in his career. Congratulations to Kashad Johnson. 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. I've talked about how good, if you remember years ago, I talked about how good Kashad Johnson is and how good he would be for the NBA in the summer league days last year. I promise you I did. You go back to my old videos, so you'll see I talked about Kashad Johnson a little bit frequently. I also talked about Pelle Larsson. I also talked about Kel'el Ware. I talked about some of those players, and also the players like Josh Christopher, who I feel like deserve a chance in the NBA a little bit more. But I digress right there. Who else? Jaime Jaquez, 10 points with 5 for 11 in field goals, with 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. And Drew Smith with 12 points with 2 for 2 3-pointers, 4 for 7 in field goals, 2 for 3 in free throws, with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. I'm going to mention everybody else. Fontecchio with 9 points with a 3-pointer, 2 more field goals, 2 for 3 free throws, with 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Myron Garner with a 3-pointer. He has 3 points. Pretty cool. And he also has a rebound in his NBA debut. And Jameer Young with 2 3-pointers, making it 6 points with an assist. Great debut. I will say that with the pure confidence. Chicago Bulls. Isaac Okoro with 9 points, with 1 for 2 and 3-pointers, 4 for 8 field goals, with 2 rebounds. Mateus Buzelis with 6 points, actually 6 points, with 2 for 8 in field goals, 2 for 2 in free throws, with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. He was another one that got hurt in the third quarter, but thankfully he was okay to play. Thank goodness he was okay, because I don't like the idea of seeing other teams get injured, especially if it's a homegrown player. He's from Chicago, and I just don't like it. Nikola Vukovic. Finally, we figured out Vukovic. 6 points for him as well. 2 for 8 in field goals, 2 for 2 free throws, with 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Ayo Dosunmu with 23 points, clearly the best player of the game, almost with Josh Giddey. But Dosunmu with 23 points, with 9 for 14 in field goals, 3 for 4 in pointers, 2 for 3 in free throws with 1 rebound, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Josh Giddey with 19 points, 6 for 14 in field goals with 1 3-pointer, 6 for 9 in free throws. Nice. With 11 rebounds, that's a double-double. He was 1 assist away of a triple-double. He was close. 9 assists, and that's pretty much it for that one. Couple of players off the bench that is noteworthy with Jalen Smith with 14 points for him, 2 for 5 in 3-pointers, 2 for 2 free throws, 5 for 8 in field goals with 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 blocks. 5 blocks from that single player is just nuts. And then Javon Carter coming off the bench with 10 points, 2 for 8 in 3-pointers. That is the sole field goals. 4 for 4 in free throws with 1 rebound and a steal. I have nothing else to talk about. Miami Heat literally held the Chicago Bulls with 41%. Excellent. It was just awesome. Awesome defending by the Miami Heat. Awesome defending by the Miami Heat. We actually not even. Finally, we out-rebound the team. We have 53 rebounds. They have 39. Key difference right here. Finally, if we can continue doing this, watch out, NBA. Watch out. We were better, actually, exception of blocks, we were better at almost everything. And the points off turnovers were also a big factor, too, although in Chicago's favor. But anyway, the Heat's next game is Sunday. That's usually the Dolphins' time, but the Dolphins are on bye, so NBA see that and like, you know what? Let's take advantage of that opportunity for some folks in Miami to watch something at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. But what about the Eagles? Let me check the Eagles real quick because the 76ers are playing at roughly the same time. The Eagles, they play at 4:25. Okay, so they got some. Okay, that could work for the folks in Philadelphia. But anyway, guys, there you go. That's going to do it for this one. If you liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe for content because Miami TVG has it back. And when he does, he will right there with the free entertainment you deserve. This is Miami TVG signing off, folks. Good night, everybody. Go Heats.